sunny in. Into sunny in, which is a weird thing to say, which is why I didn't say it.
And it is very sunny.
Tension is rising. Only 2 cars left in the pit lane before we have a full grid. Take a look up to the lights and then we'll see the countdown coming on. Look at the countdown. 5 seconds. Season 3, race 1 is under starters orders. Lights out. EERC is go, go, go. A good start from Richard. Ergaster tries to keep the inside line down towards Tunnel. Look at Mike Bell coming right round the outside. Into Cox corner. A spectacular move. Oh, big rest. And that's really horses. Into the bollard then. But Hamilton swings it round the outside line. He's got back to the start as well. Oh, no. And the starter after chaos in the middle of the field. Cars left, right and centre. And takes second position as well. But hardly missed by round 2. And it's almost as though it was just utter chaos.
Such chaos.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Salzburgring for the 8th and final round of season... which season are we in again? It's season 5, isn't it, of the EERC British Touring Car Championship, as I get very distracted by what I'm seeing on screen here. We are at, of course, the Salzburgring in Plainfield, east of Salzburg in Austria, of course. Circuit usually used for motorcycles and, of course, some touring cars as well. My name is Edward Hunter. Alongside me in the commentary box is Mr. Ryan Ferris, Nick Homewood in the safety car, and Pascal Eggert on broadcast direction. So you'll definitely be hearing from Ryan. You'll definitely be hearing from me. You might be hearing a little bit from Nick here and there as well on what is the final event of the season, as well as qualifying is just about to get underway as the clock starts to count down from 10 minutes then. And of course, Ryan, unfortunately, we weren't able to broadcast the last round at Mid-Ohio. Somebody slept in, let's put it that way. And there wasn't anyone to replace them in time. So that means we didn't quite get to see the champion being crowned, of course, which was Ballas Kiss for Simco in the number 43. So, of course, a brilliant season from him. And his teammate Adam Zux with Simco also securing the team's championship, and I believe Alan Axon, I think, has officially secured the independence title as well, for that matter too. But a brilliant season from Simco, and really everybody else is a little bit, even with the drop score round, everyone else is a little bit too inconsistent to really, nobody else showed up regularly enough to mount a challenge, I think is what I'm trying to say here, in the most politest way possible.
Yeah, there's been that, and Kiss has been pretty dominant, and I don't think there's been many races where he's finished off the podium that he's competed in. So
yeah, the only ones I can think of are like Silverstone, like the last some of the ones at Silverstone, where that was the first round of the season where Kings dominated, and it looked like we were going to be in for a very different season. But from Zandvoort onwards, you're right, Simco, Kiss especially, but Zux as well has been fairly consistent too, always in the sort of top 5, top 10, backing him up, and occasionally getting on the podium himself. And there's been a couple of underdog stories here and there, people who have surprised the established order, really. But yeah, most of the time it's really been the Hungarian Simco crew that have been the ones to watch then, as we look at Krzysztof Szylski for Optiminal Esports. Then Optiminal have had some good guest drives. Joe Herlock at the Norris Ring stands to mind, where he got that second place in the final race of the day. And a couple of others that impressed as well. Szylski always sort of in and around the top 10, not especially looking like a fight challenging for victory anytime soon, but certainly Optiminal would love to end the season with a win, which I don't think they've gotten just yet, as actually Thomas Raschke is the first to set a full flying lap here, because he set purple in the first sector. They're faster than Luca Gray, faster than Connor Knight, Louis Hartley, our Season 2 champion, and Stanislas Pajad. So really risking it through the first chicane then, isn't he? And lovely to see the, I think that's the Nick Homewood tribute livery that Thomas is running here as well.
Yeah, it looks like it, and this is a very slipstream heavy circuit, as you can see. A lot of it spent full throttle, especially through that second sector. And so you kind of saw everyone leaving pit lane all together, trying to catch a toe off of one another.
Yep, certainly. So plenty of long straights here as we see Thomas Raschke 123.1 is the benchmark time to beat then. 7/10 clear of Luca Gray just ahead of him. Gray, of course, has got no slipstream whatsoever because he's the only underbirch that's been able to show up today. And it's the one car that doesn't count towards a team championship as well. So I guess that's team championship done for us then. As Peter Neuendorf crosses the line. Got a purple middle sector for Peter Neuendorf. He goes 4th fastest then. And Peter Neuendorf his son Tim was really impressing early in the season, and Peter's had to sort of carry on by himself for the rest of it. So it has been a bit hard going for the pot racer team, but nonetheless, Peter has had some impressive performances. A couple of times he's threatened to finish on the podium in reverse grids especially, but it's not quite worked out for him. As we see Daniel Scott has set a purple middle sector here, 22.2 as he drifts it in through the chicane in the middle sector. I think that's 13 and 14. He's just going through now through 15 and now towards the run to the line where that Red Bull signage is, and he goes 2nd fastest, half a second off of Raschke's time here. So has Thomas Raschke found something here, or are we waiting for the Simcoes, even with all their ballast, to get a really competitive time together here? As Luca Gray is on another good run, and it's good enough for pole, 66 thousandths ahead of Thomas Raschke.
I don't think, on this track, ballast is an absolute killer, so I don't think we're going to see the Simcoes anywhere near the top. Seeing as they're pretty much the only two with significant ballast on this grid, they're 2 seconds down for KISS seems pretty representative.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way then, but we've seen them beat the odds before, haven't we? So I don't think you can count out Ballast Kiss, who goes 4th fastest with a purple final sector, actually, funnily enough, just right behind his teammate Adam Zook. So they're 3rd and 4th at the moment, despite what you've just told us, Nick. So I guess they do have a habit of proving us wrong, don't they? They are ahead of Daniel Scott and Robin Mulling, of course, famous for their... Oh, as James Knox drifts it onto the gravel then through the penultimate pair chicane. But yeah, Ballast Kiss... So Daniel Scott, Robin Mulling are most famous for their performances for the Rookie Monsters team in endurance racing and in the Grand Prix Virtual single-seater ladder in FS1. And I think they're also moving up to Super Lights this season as well. As we look at our Season 2 champion, Louis Hartley in the independent livery, number 26, I think. Purple in the middle sector then. So Hartley in what looks like, is that a Vauxhall Astra?
That's the
Toyota,
Honda
isn't it?
Civic still.
No, it is a Honda Civic. Okay, sorry. I was confused. I thought we were the only ones who went for the Honda Civic in the end. But there we go. So Louis Hartley goes 4th fastest then, just in front of Adam Zooks, and immediately beaten, though, by Stanislas Peugeot for Finavon Motorsport and his teammate, or stablemate, I should say, Peter Schuleman, who goes 3rd fastest in the white Finavon team car. So, yeah, 4 hundredths behind Thomas Raschke there. So it's very, very tight between our top 3 especially, but yeah, this could be a very, very interesting race in prospect here if we got the Simcoes fighting through from 6th and 7th as Yuzuchich, Japanese driver there, who we saw competing at Mid-Ohio. In fact, his stream was the only way we could figure out what was actually happening in the sort of wet final race of the day, but yeah, getting well out of the way of Connor Knight then, who gets the XRL esports car to start its first flying lap, I believe, or second flying lap, because he's 12th at the moment, as Luca Gray's going even faster through the first sector. What's that? Is that like a 77 hundredths quicker?
Yeah, and it's quite impressive, seeing as he's got a clear track ahead of him. It looked earlier as though the Simco cars were trading slipstreams off of each other to try and get a faster lap. Obviously, as was already said, they've got they're the main team with the success ballast, so they kind of need to work off of each other to try and get as high up the grid as possible.
And I think that's Connor Knight facing the wrong way there, just or somebody certainly.
I think it was Chich by the looks of things. It was.
Oh right, I was Yuzu. Okay. There was a line then. Oh, it's a lowering of the bar yet again. Luca Gray sets a 122.761, so that puts him almost 4 tenths quicker than Thomas Raschke now. So there's a bit of a gulf behind Luca Gray and the rest of the field. So Gray, of course, had to miss a couple of races this season. The success ballast, of course, he's not had to have very much of it this season. So the 56 has definitely benefited from that.
Yeah, and you can see with Kiss in that middle sector, which is pretty much all flat out, he's lost 0.2 of a second off of his personal best. So that's where the ballast is definitely taking its toll.
Yeah, Ballast Kiss, though, goes second fastest purple final sector. That's nearly 2.5 tenths quicker then. But the middle sector is the one where it's just really letting him down in that pole fight there. But yeah, 42 thousandths behind Luca Gray. It is extremely tight here. One little missed apex here, one spinning of the wheels, and it could be the difference between qualifying on pole and starting just a few places behind. Pajot has set a purple first sector as we watch. James Knox has been pretty impressive in qualifying the last couple of rounds. Has gotten a few top 5s, top 4s in the races as well. Comes towards the line in the Dalma, goes 12 fastest then, displaces Peter Neuendorf then. So the pot racer needing to find something. We see some interesting comments in the chat. Fish car says crazy captain. I think he meant to say capitan or captain, and he's misspelt it. But yeah, crazy captain seems very, very excited. As does Kaikira, who says FASD car. I don't know what that means.
He's trying to sing
fast car.
Trying to sing that Tracy Chapman song and getting it a bit wrong.
Yeah, I think people are just typing with it. Oh, Pajot goes fastest though. That first sector doing the damage then. 1:22.6, so a tenth quicker than Luca Gray with 30 seconds left on the clock. And who is still out there that can beat that then? We watch Adam Zux here. All that ballast. He's 6th at the moment, right behind Thomas Raschke. 4,000 separating the pair of them. Can Adam Zux get himself onto the second row of the grid, or is he going to have to be content with the third row? Towards the timing beam, he comes now. He stays in 6th. So that's surely curtains for Adam Zux then. He's still got time if he can keep going on this lap, start another one, but Gray and Pajot, they are done for the day. Peter Schumann and Louis Hartley are going faster though. Look at Schumann especially in that first sector, 32.4. Purple, fastest of anybody.
Yeah, and Schumann obviously going pretty quick in the early part of the qualifying session and then gone all the way down the order as we see Hartley coming through the final chicane onto the back straight. He's had a fastest middle sector and personal best second sector, so that's left him in 5th position. And Schumann's gone off.
Well, I guess we won't be seeing Schumann improve on 3rd then, but very, very close in the end. Ballast Kiss just 6 thousandths behind Peter Schumann in the fight for 3rd. Daniel Scott completes his final lap. It will be 10th then for the Scotsman in the Dalmar Auto racing car, just ahead of his teammate Robin Mulling, the German, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure Robin Mulling is German then, as Krzysztof Szylski, Polish driver, coming out of the final corner now. Can he improve on 16th and last position? No, it's going to be behind actually the safety car, so no clean laps really on the board there for Szylski. So it looks like Nick Homewood is not going to start last, even though the safety car will start from the pit lane then. So then, yes, exactly. Apart from Donington, where you were P9, but anyway, Stanislas Pajot takes pole position then for Finavon for the first time this season, just beating Luca Gray. A fantastic late effort then. It's not Silverstone, by the way. We're at the end of the season, but it's too late to actually change the graphics to say the actual round number. Peter Schumann puts 2 Finavon cars into the top 3 then. Missing out on pole, though, with that final effort that looks so strong. Ballast Kiss, our champion in the final race of the season, will start from 4th, looking to get another podium to add to his collection. Louis Hartley, the Season 2 champion, starts right behind him in 5th. James Knox, good late effort to jump Thomas Raschke up to 6th for the Dalmar driver. With Raschke, the ducking fast racing driver, having to settle with that 7th in the number 78. Adam Zux will start 8th. Then it's Connor Knight in 9th for the top 10, rounded out by Daniel Scott. Our 3rd Dalmar, Robin Mulling, will start 11th ahead of Stefan Nilsson. Peter Neuendorf will be 13th. Yuzu Chich, we saw him spinning all over the place, 9 seconds off the pace, but he does at least set a lap on the board in 14th. And then if it's Szylski that will bring up the rear with Nick Homewood in the Porsche 911 safety car. your name, I guess, because that's a name that only really makes sense when Nick is looking at the screen. So for everyone else, it's kind of misleading because you are not in the safety car. Only Nick Homewood is. As we see, Luca Gray getting a tap from behind from the Finn of On there.
What happened there?
It's I guess that was Tuneman practicing for the race then.
They start next to each other, so
Exactly,
that bodes
yeah.
well.
Well, Peter's not shy about putting his nose in, even if there's not space for it. So, yeah, Luca Gray's going to be a little bit exposed.
Yeah, elbows, nose, whatever he's got, he's yeah.
Knees and toes.
Yeah.
All right, so we should be in for a fun final 3 races of the season, though. Definitely a bit of an end-of-term feel to this one. And we've had some frills and spills. We were hopeful that the Championship British Touring Cars will continue next season, of course, but details yet to really be announced. We may be, Nick, I think, may be looking for someone else to take over without wanting to put you too much on the spot, Nick.
Yeah, message me, please.
Here we go. And also, if you want something to do in the EERC British Touring Car off season, I am starting up the Formula Sim Racing World Championship and the Pro and Academy Support Series quite soon, 16th of March. We just published the calendar as well. So anybody who wants to get involved as a steward, a commentator, a broadcaster, or potentially even race director as well, feel free to send in your applications because we're certainly still looking for people at the moment to get involved. In fact, you may even want to sign up a team as well. As I think World Championship, there is a bit of a you do have to loan out a license effectively, but yeah, I'm really excited about it. 10 rounds. They'll take you through from 16th of March all the way to 10th of August as well. It's very difficult when organizing the calendar, by the way, to in the middle from March through to August to avoid all the F1 double headers and triple headers as well. So we've had to have a couple that are on the same day as all the tyre barriers that mark the apexes being thrown up by Louis Hartley and Thomas Raschke there. So that could be a bit of a hazard.
Rent out the O2 Arena for an FSR launch.
I used to actually go to uni at a place called Ravensbourne University. It was right next to the O2 every day. As there we go, Louis Hartley gets turned in upon by the Finna Fund. But yeah, I think we probably wouldn't get that many artists that are interested in coming, like Machine Gun Kelly or whatever. We probably wouldn't be able to pay them all.
No.
And,
I can't imagine its fees that high.
I don't know. There are a couple of competitors in FSR that are fairly big names, like Ferrari, Bravum Esports. They've done a couple of seasons. Raffer Esports, which is the...
Doesn't get much bigger than Ferrari.
No, not really. Oh, they used to be Red Bull, of course, and then Dennis Jordan got the license with Ferrari, and I'm not sure if he still is with Ferrari, whether Ferrari still want to do it or not. I think they've got their driver, Isaac Gillison, who's sort of just hanging around the FSI server now. Not sure what he's going to do this season. Oh, big drift from Hartley as he gets a wheel on the grass. And, playing pinball there, the Season 2 champion there. The Scotsman, interesting livery as well. Is that the... LB Racing, did it say, or TB Racing?
Yeah, it almost was giving me the old Porsche pig car vibes almost.
Yeah.
With pink.
I'm not sure these drivers are taking this warm-up session entirely seriously. As Peter Schumann clonks the wall at the final corner. At no point did he like making that corner.
They're just testing the waters for whatever's to come.
Exactly. Yeah. So 14 drivers, and all bets are off if any of them are going to make the finish the way they're driving at this rate. Probably the Simcoes will be all right. Everyone else is every man for themselves.
Well, I think it could end up that the championship migrates onto Wreckfest 2 when that comes out. So.
Yeah, I mean that'd be fun. I've got Wreckfest on my Xbox. I could probably take part rather than commentating.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. I mean, I have to pay for Xbox Live though, or Gold, or whatever it is. But yeah, with all the ballast on the Simcoes, this is surely Adam Zux and Balaskas trying to survive this first race from, is it 4th and 6th on the grid respectively? Then the two of them with Thomas Raschke in between. So yeah, you got to think that the knives are going to be out for those guys because they've been basically giving everyone they've been schooling everyone all season on how to drive in this championship, and now final event of the season, they've got the two Finavons and Luca Gray ahead of them and of course Thomas Raschke in the mix as well, all looking to impress, get their best results of the season. Luca Gray, of course, did get retroactively awarded the win at the Norris Ring, but I don't think Peugeot or Schoenman have won. No, Schoenman did win a race 3 this season, didn't he?
He
Somewhere, I
won,
forget.
yeah, Brands Hatch in the
That was it, yes.
wet one.
Okay, so those two won before, but Peugeot hasn't, and neither has Thomas Raschke. I think his best result is still like 4th or something.
He got second in, not that we saw it, last round, I think.
Oh,
I
he
think
did,
was
yeah.
second.
Okay, well, again, somebody slept through that one, and they were the one controlling the broadcast. So I did, as you say, wouldn't have known, because if you don't see it, it may as well not happened. Essentially, although I realize saying that I am basically dismissing about 10 years of FSR history from like pre-broadcast days when I say that. So I probably shouldn't say that quite so cavalierly. Anyway, 4 minutes left of warm-up left, I think, until we get the last of our 3 races of the season underway. And yeah, it's certainly been an interesting championship this season in EERC British Touring Cars. Very up and down. I think the success ballast has worked mostly as intended. It's just, in terms of attendance, it's just a little bit of a shame to see a slight sort of drop-off the last couple of rounds, really, as everyone has realised that nobody but Simcoe is going to win both championships.
Yeah, and we have had some pretty good racing as well across the season. Some of the races that we had at Donington Park were absolutely electric, and we also had some of the dramas that we had at the Norris Ring as well.
Yeah, Norris Ring was a very physical race. I noticed no King's cars and no KV86 Powerhouse cars either. So I think they're sort of voicing their discontent in a way by not showing up with the way how their season has gone. But yeah, they're certainly going to be missing out.
King's cars were a bit busy with all the goings on yesterday.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they're probably still trying to get a train out of London.
Yeah, there was some dramas as well, but we won't go into that.
Okay then, but yeah, I'm trying to think of more talking points. It's difficult to fill 8 whole minutes of warm up.
We're waiting for a rejoiner to the server, having some issues.
Ah, okay. Well, that explains it a little bit then.
I was going to say, warm-up's never usually this long, is it?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't message Oliver Hargitay. I didn't hear anything from him, so I assume the power cable. I did say, we'll sign you up in the hope that it can be fixed in time, and he said it's not getting any power, I think, a couple of days ago. So, yeah, clearly that situation's not changed. But it's the sort of thing where you're sort of just struggling to convince drivers to drive. At least Luca Gray is there. If I could probably move Luca Gray into one of the point-scoring cars, but then he would have had a lot of ballast, and he probably would have qualified outside the top 10 or something like that. So it's probably more better for him that he has a bit of a glory run on the low ballast. As there we go. Looks like the warm-up is going to end with just about 90 seconds left on the clock then. So unfortunately, we are going to start with just 14 drivers then, which is still more than enough to have an entertaining motor race then. So the hills are alive with the sound of British touring cars in Austria for our season finale then. So Stanislas Peugeot is going to be Slipstream City on the way into turn 1, because he is on the right with Luca Gray alongside him on the left. And last couple of drivers connecting onto the grid now. What are we expecting to happen here, Ryan, then, as the grid actually does have to be reset now?
Well, it's going to be potential carnage into turn 1, as it is quite a tight chicane, and then it was going to be Slipstream City all through the second sector, and then they've got to try and sort themselves out through the final sector, and it's going to be like that lap after lap, hopefully.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be exciting once it gets going, but still a number of cars in the pits then, as we wait then for the grid to finish populating. Be interested to see who goes on the soft tyre in this first race as well. Looks like there are a couple that might be gambling on it. Luca Gray yet to make the decision, and neither Adam Zux as well. Both of those are going to be our last drivers to get to the grid then.
At the moment, it looks like Nilsson and Knight have gone on to the softs. Zux has decided to go for the medium, so we're just waiting on Gray at the moment.
Yeah, and I think
he's
Gray
gone
might
for the
be.
softs, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like he was thinking about it, but everyone on the grid now. So the lights sequence has begun, and off we go for the first race of the day here at the Salzburgring. And it is Ballast Kiss that's made a brilliant getaway to pass Peter Schumann for third. Then Luca Gray flashing his lights, desperate to escape the carnage that's going to appear in the rearview mirror. But it's Peugeot that's got the clearest run. Side by side go Kiss and Schumann. Schumann tries to push Ballast Kiss onto the grass as there's a bollard of tyres that's been flicked up in front of everyone. And now Gray is trying to go around the outside into turns 3 and 4 here with this long constant radius right-hander there, and Peugeot has got to sort of block the middle of the road, and indeed he pulls across to do so. So Luca Gray is going to have to try and go the long way around here to take the lead, Ryan.
Yeah, they're going to be side by side all the way through these curling corners. Obviously Gray on those softer tyres, so you can see how he was able to get the car just turned underneath, but still side by side as they come through into this third sector. Who's going to lift?
Oh, it's certainly not going to be Luca Gray as he swings through from the outside, just about gets the car resettled then as he turns in for the corner, and it's Gray in the lead then. So we've got Luca Gray leading from Stanislas Peugeot. Peter Schumann is up to third, having muscled his way back through on Ballast Kiss. Louis Hartley is fifth. James Knox is sixth, although Knox and Hartley have swapped positions. There we go, just before the final chicane. Up the inside he goes, and now Thomas Raschke has joined the party as well. He's having a go at Louis Hartley here as they approach the start-finish line. Adam Zux has fallen to 8th. Connor Knight is 9th in the top 10, rounded out by Stefan Nilsson, who's jumped Mulling, Neuendorf, and Scott then. So very, very close, very, very competitive. And Raschke still dueling away with Louis Hartley, the Season 2 champion then. So great to see Thomas Raschke, second place in race 2 last time out, I believe, having an absolutely fantastic run out there.
Yeah, and Schumann's really starting to pester Peugeot as Gray's really starting to clear off up the road now, and he's potentially going to find himself out of slipstream from Peugeot, so that's going to be good news for Gray.
Or yellow in the final sector, so somebody, I think that might be Yuzi Chich, that's hit trouble then. But yeah, the two soft tyre runners lower down, Connor Knight, Stefan Nilsson, there they are. Just trying to make progress here, and it's side by side between Zux and Knight, and it's Knight that has the inside on the softer tyres there, but Adam Zux trying to hang it out around the outside. Here we go at the back end of the circuit through turns 10, 11, and 12, and there we go, Connor Knight. Just a bit of contact made as Zux tries to turn it from the outside, but it's Connor Knight that's up to 8th then in the XRL car. So good to see Knight having to duel his way through. Passing one of the Simcoes. Next target for him will be Thomas Raschke, who's still fighting away with Hartley. Peugeot sets the fastest lap of the race, getting a little bit of a tow from Luca Gray, but Gray, I think, is still very much in control of this one at the present moment on those soft tyres, and it's now Schumann fighting ways. Here comes Nilsson on the softs, passing Adam Zux as well into that first chicane there, so the soft tyres are definitely ones to be on at the moment, and now Mulling is having a go at Zux.
Yeah, and it really is that the Simcoe car is just going backwards as we expected with the success ballast, as we look at a duel between Hartley and Raschke coming through the second sector now.
Yeah, and that was Thomas Raschke just getting through, but now he's giving a lovely tow to the Scotsman behind him, Ken Louis Hartley. Dive at the last minute. Thank you, it says, with the image of Nick Homewood there. And Louis Hartley is saying, oh, well, no thanks for this, because you're ruining my race here by jumping me in the order. Big drift there at that long right-hander there. High speed in 5th or 6th gear there. And Thomas Raschke just about holds on to that one there. That was a risk and a half through turn 11 there. And now Raschke's already coasting up to the back of Knox here. Oh, speaking of Knox there, the barrier has disappeared because one of the Finnevons or Ballast Kiss has knocked it over then. and it's still those 3 cars dueling away for second position. Peugeot leading Schumann by a tenth of a second, but they're 1.5 seconds now behind Luca Gray, who's scampering into the distance. Ballast Kiss 7 tenths behind, then it's Knox defending from Hartley and Rashke. Hartley's back through on Thomas Rashke, but compromises his line through the chicane.
Yeah, and I think Schumann's going to really have to pull a move on Peugeot now, because Schumann did the fastest first sector on that last lap, but then was held up by Peugeot, and so he's unable to make any progress from Gray. Meanwhile, Kiss is actually starting to come up onto the back of these two.
Yeah, despite that 75 kilograms of success ballast for being, of course, the champion, yeah, Ballast Kiss is starting to get the hang of this weight on his car and using the slipstream from the 2 Vinavons ahead of him to stay in podium contention, as there's a yellow in the final sector. And that must be ahead of our leaders then. So I believe that's Yuzu Chich, who's gone maybe a lap down, potentially 2 laps down now.
In the barriers.
Oh dear, so that's not good for the Japanese driver. Oh, there's a big twitch on for Peugeot there through 14 and now into 15, and now that backs Schumann into the clutches of Ballast Kiss. So we got Peugeot, Schumann, Kiss all together then as they cross the line. We're at the halfway stage in this race, lap 5 of 10 then. It looks like Chich has got going again.
Yeah, you could just see there, even though Schumann had a poor exit out to the final chicane, Kiss was actually losing ground down the start-finish straight.
Yeah, and Thomas Rashke successfully repels the attack from Connor Knight, and now Kiss is trying to go round the outside with Schumann. Oh, well, Schumann defended very vociferously earlier on, didn't he? There's a huge train of cars behind James Knox as well, fighting for 5th. About 1.7 seconds behind these 3 then, and look at Ballast Kiss weaving this way and that, looking for the opening on Peter Schumann, but these 2 cars have both got ballast, but Kiss has got by far the most ballast, hence Ballast Kiss the name. But into turn 11 they come once more. Ballast Kiss is not close enough to swing around the outside, so I'll have to stay in line for now, and all this dueling is allowing Peugeot to get away, and now Louis Hartley has cleared James Knox for 5th position, or has he? Knox is still there, trying to come back up the inside now into turn 12, and that also allows Rashke then to have a brief attack too. So Rashke really was risking it, and that allowed Hartley back into 6th position, even though Knox got through there.
Yeah, and obviously going in a little bit too deep. We've got 5 laps to go now, so they're really starting to click off on this shorter circuit of the season.
Yep, time's starting to run out then. Luca Gray extends his lead to 2.5 seconds over Stanislas Peugeot, who is keeping Schumann 7 tenths in the rearview mirror. There's this crazy fight for 5th as all. Now there's a mistake from Rashke, stumbling through the chicane. That allows Connor Knight and Stefan Nilsson on the soft tyres to start to attack here in the XRL and the Dalma cars respectively. And now, oh, here we go. Ballast Kiss is trying to nip up the inside. Peugeot is once more starting to lose time here, and he's falling into Schumann's clutches here. And Schumann has already got company in the form of Ballast Kiss, of course. So it's anyone's guess what the bottom 2 steps on the podium are going to look like here. Schumann is still looking very, very fired up, and look at this, another attack from Louis Hartley on James Knox, then round the outside. Is there going to be space? Yes, there is a little bit on the grass though from one of them.
Yeah, and amazing stuff there around the outside. Managed to keep it all together. We've seen in practice, obviously, some people touching the grass and spinning off, but he kept the car under control. But meanwhile, you still got the lead to 2nd, 3rd, and 4th glued together. But Gray is putting in faster sector after faster sector, and he's just done the fastest lap, just as I say that, and he's running best part of half a second a lap quicker than those behind.
Yep, certainly. He is going to feel he made the right choice going for the softs, whereas everyone behind on the mediums is fighting each other. It'll be interesting to see how race 2 goes, because we might potentially see Peugeot, Schumann, Kiss go for the softs there, and Gray might find himself a bit more in difficulties. There's Connor Knight having just made a great move at turn 12 on Thomas Rashke. He's now gotten a penalty for cutting the track one too many times, and that's surely going to promote Thomas Rashke back into the top 7 here.
Yeah, as we go back to Ballast Kiss, who's on the back end of Schumann again, still not managing to find any way past the Fringavon car, but he's going to still have another look. He's working the back end of that car. Can he go around the outside? Now, this is another issue that we've been seeing with the ballast on the car. If he was running a little lighter, he'd certainly be passed by now.
Yeah, certainly, and that's the challenge, though, with the success buzz. There's yellow in the final sector again, potentially Chich in more difficulties, but yeah, that will not bother Luca Gray then, who continues to extend that gap to Peugeot, and now Peugeot actually starting to streak away just a little bit. 7/10 now is the gap, as we see all wide from Schoenemann. And could that mistake, a little bit of grass cutting, be enough for Ballaskis to get the run into the pits? Comes Connor Knight to serve the drive-through penalty for cutting the track. That's going to hurt him and drop him out of the top 10 and down to 12th then.
Oh, and off track for Schoenemann, so that's allowing Kiss to come alongside. Is he going to have a look up onto the inside as they come to the hairpin? He's definitely there. He's sending it up the inside. Schoenemann's going to round it out on the outside, which is going to give him the inside for the next section. But it looks like Kiss might have this done and dusted. They're still running side by side as they come through this middle sector. And it looks like Schoenemann, who's got the lighter car, is going to just breeze back through.
Yep, he did the longer route round the outside, but of course, with the lower ballast, once he was in the slipstream, he was able to get through, and looks like Connor Knight sadly has decided to retire from the race, which is a big shame for him on those soft tyres. That would have been a good result if he had just kept doing track limits, but Schoenemann perilously close to the grass as he defends into turn 11, and this is allowing Louis Hartley and Knox to coast up to the back of them. So now, all of a sudden, we are looking at a 5-way fight for second position with just 2 more laps to go. I say bring it on, Ryan.
Oh, definitely, as they come along to start their second to last lap. And it's all starting to come together very nicely as we look back to Zux, who's having a bit of a battle with Neuendorf. Obviously, Zux struggling more than his teammate with the success ballast, and has only got a couple cars behind him.
Yeah, Stefan Nielsen is on for one of his best results of the season, 8th position on the soft tyres, and Schumann's gotten a penalty for cutting the track. So the strict track limits catching the Dutchman out yet again, and that's going to surely promote Ballaskis onto the podium. That's a shame for the battle to end that way, but we can't forget about Louis Hartley, who's within 7/10 now of Ballaskis and has significantly less ballast as well himself. And James Knox still giving him close company, but James Knox has gone all of a sudden from fighting for 5th to all of a sudden staring down potentially a podium here. So what a turnaround this is. And now Schoenemann, now he's got to get to the pits to set that penalty. He's basically a roadblock for Ballaskis here, and he kind of knows it, doesn't he?
Yeah, and you can see bit by bit, inch by inch, there's that Honda coming onto the back of these two. And pretty much by the time we start, you can see how Schoenemann's actually blocking Kiss around the outside. A bit of bumping going on, and this is a little bit off from Schoenemann. Obviously, get him to do the penalty. And
He collects him. He hit the rear tyre there, got glued to him, and spun Ballaskis around. I think I agree with you there, Brian. That was very unnecessary from Schoenemann. Schoenemann will argue, well, I was trying to get to the outside so I could go into the pit lane. But still, that was needless contact. Ballaskis was having a great race, and all of a sudden, Louis Hartley has gained 2 positions in the space of 1 corner, and now has just got to hold off James Knox for 1 more lap, and he's going to get his first podium of the season. Who'd have thought that would happen?
No, I didn't see that happening, and well, obviously we've seen some very robust defending and driving from Neuendorf in the past. Sorry, not Neuendorf, Schoenemann in the past, and so to be honest, shouldn't have expected any different really, but we did, and I think Kiss did as well. So Kiss is now down in 10th position, and has actually resulted in promoting Zux up into 8th.
Having watched the replay, that's not quite as clear cut as it first appeared. It looks like Kiss snatched a brake a bit, so was going a bit wide. There was room on the inside, but I'm sure we'll see the replay.
Right, so we'll have to see afterwards. Sounds more like a bit more of a racing incident than maybe we first thought. But anyway, Luca Gray coming through the final couple of corners now, And it's going to be his second win of the season. There we go. Victory for Luca Gray in the first race here at the Salzburgring as he beats the pulse of Stanislas Pajot, who finishes second. Louis Hartley places third from James Knox. Then it is Thomas Raschke in fifth. Stefan Nilsson gets his best result ever in sixth ahead of Robin Mulling. Adam Zux holds on to 8th from Peter Neuendorf, and then Ballas Kiss rounds out the top 10 after that collision there. That will be controversial. But yeah, certainly Peter Schumann in 11th and Daniel Scott in 12th then. And those are your final finishes. So here's the replay of the start then. And are we going to watch Peter Neuendorf? I think it's more Gray that we'll want to look at for the most, making that superb start to take the lead really, really early on. It's almost like he wasn't messing around with Pajot here. He got in exactly the right position and set... look at the flashing of the lights as well. He telegraphed his intentions quite early and then just set Pajot up on the straight, didn't he?
Yeah, and pretty much that was the last we saw of him, really. And considering the start of the season, you were almost writing any form of competitiveness of that car off during this at the start of the season. To finish a race over 7 seconds ahead of the field, did not see that coming.
Oh, and Daniel Scott, too much speed into the chicane, couldn't slow it down in time, and he took the bollard with him, it seems. So Bob the Bollard going on adventures. This is Connor Knight serving the drive-through. Of course, it was exit of the turn 1-2 chicane where he breached the amount of allowed track limits. There's Peter Neuendorf. Oh, too shallow an angle. And he goes deep into the Killy Little there as he tries to pass Adam Zux then. Yeah, that's why Peter Neuendorf fell to 9th by the end. And this is the controversial one. Bit of a lockup from Ballas. You see Louis Hartley can't believe his luck as they both just go. And I like how it says Kiss B instead of Ballas Kiss there on the back of it. Yeah, that's certainly a big kiss there. And almost Peter couldn't really have avoided that one at this point here. Bit of a dive.
Yeah.
He was trying to turn it from the outside. There wasn't really anywhere for Peter to go, but off track, unfortunately.
No, and actually, yeah, I take back what I said earlier, and it was Schumann actually giving plenty of space to Kiss, and Kiss getting it all wrong, really. Obviously, no one. Obviously, I'm assuming he didn't know the fact that he had a penalty, maybe, and he may have taken it a little easier, considering he would have been pitting that lap most likely. But we got another 2 races to see and to fix those sorts of issues for Kiss.
Yeah, certainly. But Luca Gray then on the soft tyres wins from second on the grid. Race 1 here at the Salzburgring from Stanislas Pajot. Louis Hartley, of course, the Season 2 champion, fought for the title in Season 3 and 4 as well. But sort of has been a bit absent in Season 5 up until the last couple of rounds. Good to see Louis Hartley back on the podium for TBC Racing, his own independent team. James Knox, 4th for him. It was just a very, very quietly impressive run from Knox, keeping Hartley very honest indeed. Thomas Raschke, some good battling from him and Connor Knight. Raschke takes 5th from Stefan Nilsson, and take a bow. Stefan using the soft tyres to good effect to beat Robin Mulling, who gets a top 7 for Dalma. Adam Zux, heavy ballast for the Hungarian, but he's still in 8th ahead of Peter Neuendorf, who made that mistake, that aborted attempt to overtake through turn 11. Ballas Kiss, collision with Peter Schumann drops him down to 10th, so he rounds out the top 10. Schumann is 11th. Daniel Scott, we saw in the replay, having lots of incidents and accidents and hits with the wall, so he has to settle for 12th, a long way down on everyone else, but sadly not making it to the end were Connor Knight, retiring after that penalty, and then Yuzu Chich, who was struggling to really just get any control of that car whatsoever as he got lapped very, very early on. So let's hope Yuzu has a cleaner run in race 2. Yeah,
and obviously another little warm-up session so they can get rid of or get used to the ballast and the new tyres that will potentially be running for this race coming up. And well, it's going to be interesting to see what Kiss can do coming from a lower position on the grid.
I mean, we've seen it before, though, in the reverse grid races where he's fought his way through the order and won anyway. But yeah, certainly won't be easy this time around because this is such a high-speed circuit with lots of fast corners, long straights. So It's sort of the Monza of touring cars, Salzburgring. So, apart from Monza itself, of course. So, yeah, it's not going to be easy, but it will be fascinating to see. This might be the race where he decides to put the soft tires on, whereas Luca Gray up front, he's already used them, so he's got to survive on the mediums in races 2 and 3. Anyway, my throat is starting to fail quite badly, so I'm going to go get some water very quickly before race 2 starts. Ryan, I'll be back in about a minute or two, so I won't be long.
Okay, all right. So
We got the ballast is all set now.
So that's all good to hear there then. So whilst my colleague goes to lubricate his throat, it's going to be interesting because it looks like the top two might be running the mediums and Hartley on the softs.
I think Gray ran the softs in race 1 with no ballast, and now he's on the mediums with full ballast. He's going to suffer in this race, big time.
Yeah, I definitely think with what we saw with Kiss struggling, because it was when we went to that shot on board with Kiss coming down the back straight after Schumann had a pretty poor exit out of the final chicane, and even after the poor exit, he was still pulling away from Kiss down the start-finish straight. So it does not look fun to have full ballast at the moment.
No, definitely not. And it's going to vary so wildly with the race, with the tyres and where you position. So yeah, Luca's going to be in a world of pain. Same with Peugeot, probably, if he takes the mediums. Whereas you got Kiss, now with low ballast, he can take the softs, and he can probably come up from there quite easily.
Yeah, and if he's got the pace for it, it's some of the drivers have made it look pretty easy coming through the field, but obviously struggling in the first race with the ballast. So how much ballast will Kiss have?
He was where was he? He was 10th, so he only has 9 kilos, which is basically nothing.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
the shoe very much on the other foot then for Ballast Kiss. But yeah, we'll have to see if I think it might be another 14-car race because I don't see Yuzu Chich anywhere.
Yuzu has dropped out. He was too tired, which is fair enough because it is, I think, 4 a.m. in Japan right now.
And we do have to thank him as well because we wouldn't have been able to watch any of Mid-High without Yuzu. So,
yep.
And his decision to retire early on after starting on dries on a fully wet track as well was probably
It was a painful watch for the poor guy, wasn't it? As he tried to turn in some corner and the car just went straight on. He didn't know how to.
He did a pretty good broadcast direction job. Maybe we should hire him when Pascal is too sleepy. Oh, sorry, I wasn't supposed to reveal who it was, but. Anyway, just a few short minutes of warm-up left to go then, and for Luca Gray starting on pole from Peugeot. Peugeot is surely going to go for the soft tier, because this could be his best chance of winning this season, couldn't it? And you got to think Luca Gray, we've seen him make that brilliant move early on. Now we're going to see his defensive skills on full display here, and I imagine Luca could get quite elbows out if he thinks that there's still a chance of doubling up in terms of victories.
It's going to be a big ass though, as we were talking a moment ago. He's going to have a large amount of ballast and medium tires. It's going to be tough work for Gray in this race.
This is going to be a totally different race to the one we just saw. Maybe not in a good way, but let's see.
Ooh. And keep your eyes wide way as well on Louis Hartley and James Knox, of course, because they might be another two that gamble on the soft tier ahead of this start. And it's looking like Kiss might be going for the mediums, though, in 10th then. So lots of drivers keeping the powder dry for the final race of the day, where it would also be mixed weather as well. So
Kiss has gone for the softs.
Oh, he's changed his mind. Okay.
Hartley's on the soft. Rashka well. On the soft.
And then Rashka's the last one deciding right now, isn't he?
I'm surprised Peugeot hasn't.
Yeah, me too. Maybe he thinks race 3 is a better opportunity then. But all drivers on the grid then. So we're about to get underway any minute now for race 2 here in Austria. . Salzburgring action begins. now. Okay, so the race is underway. Brilliant launch from Rashke, who's already moving through the middle of the field. And Gray's getting really defensive there. Oh, nearly contact between himself and Rashke then as they go towards the first corner then. And you see Hartley trying to go around the outside from third on the grid. Has to go off track there, surely. So Luca Gray going really wide on exit, and it's nip and tuck between the pair then as they race through towards turns 3 and 4. Gray's still going to be there on the inside, trying to maintain the lead. Louis Hartley takes the long way around. Thomas Rashke almost pushing Gray along there. So it looks like this is going to be a slipstream battle then, and Hartley on the softs is making good progress here.
Yeah, and Hartley is going to be on the in the lighter car as well. He's got the inside line, which is going to eventually become the outside line. But whether or not he's got the momentum, which he does, he now takes the lead off of Gray. But Gray's having a look up the inside, and they've hit, and they've touched. Hartley's off.
Oh, and the camera angle didn't show us a whole lot of what happened there, but it's carnage behind then. I think Gray was trying to hold off Rashke, and Rashke's now gone around the outside, and Thomas Rashke takes the lead. But what feels like the first time ever in this championship, wide goes Peugeot into the gravel, and Knox is through into third. My goodness, what an exciting first lap there.
We have got the safety car.
And the safety car is deployed, so Nick Homewood comes out of the pits for what could be the final time then to lead the field away. And oh, but Joe's not realised he's overtaken Knox under safety car, and that could be in trouble for him.
Yeah, we go to the replay, which is hopefully going to boot up any second. We see Gray going up the inside and just touching the back of Hartley, and Hartley nowhere to go really.
Oh, Nick Nielsen hit the wall as well in the sort of aftermath there. Such a tiny tap, but with big, big consequences.
Yeah, and well, we were lucky that we only really saw the two of them go off from what I can see. Then it was also...
Yeah, I wondered there was a tap from Rashke first, and then there was the tap from... oh, and yeah, Gray had to go all 4 wheels off track as well. And yeah, thank you, Nick. Well, Nick's driving the safety car right in front of Thomas now, so Nick will get a good look at the delivery in the rearview mirror. But yeah, it was so lucky as well for Luca Ray that Peugeot didn't go around the outside of him as well. And this is a replay of the second couple of corners. Oh, big spin from the second of the Vinavons. That's Schoenemann just going bowling there, essentially, I have to say.
Yeah, taking out Kiss. So Kiss is going to be at the back of the grid, or the back of the...
Did he aim for Ballast Kiss deliberately there? That looked a bit... Oh, no, he got hit in the rear. And that was by Zielski, I think.
Yeah, it looked like it was one of the Toyotas I saw there, so I don't know if that was Neuendorf.
It looked like an Optiminal to me that hit him. Oh, it was Peter Neuendorf, you're right, okay. So yeah, just really unfortunate for Peter, and then he gets caught in the incident himself as well.
Yeah, and
this is a replay to start for Gray then.
Gray...
Look at that getaway for Thomas as well. Absolutely spectacular.
Getting one of his...
and then tagging the back of Luca and sending Luca into the wall there. So maybe Gray's already nursing a little bit of damage before he even gets to turn 1.
Yeah, and Rashke getting one of his, inhuman starts as always. Straight off the lights. And...
Thomas keeps getting too good a start sometimes. I think that's the problem. Yeah, look at this timing. Revs rising. Yeah, he just completely gets a jump on everyone. Somehow avoids jumping the start as well.
Yeah.
And then, he was trying to go for a tiny gap. Luca was trying to close it, and that was a bit of a racing incident. And Rashke flashing his lights, actually, as well. And this is live footage then. So Nick Homewood leading the field under safety car. Neuendorf is in the pits. Servicing that car for damage, so hopefully Peter Neuendorf can get back into the race before the safety car comes in.
Well, yeah, and actually, where Kiss had started that final lap, although there's a little bit of swapping and changing going on where it looks things, where Kiss had pretty much come onto that second lap in last position. He's now moved back up to 11th, so he's only lost 1 position off the start.
Yep. So looks like the safety car seems to have been called before Peugeot went off track. at turn 12 then. So James Knox has given that third place back to Peugeot, which is quite fortunate for Stanislas, isn't it? And Adam Zux, of course, overtook both of them and now has had to give those positions back. So it got a little bit messy there, as there's Louis Hartley. After that big hit, it wasn't good to take the lead. Now he's in 12th position. So it could well be that Luca Gray is investigated at a post-race for that contact, because it certainly wasn't intentional, but yeah, the tap definitely came from behind.
Yeah, and it's kind of typical first lap shenanigans, really. The whole pack are all very tightly bunched together, and it is kind of one of those things that can happen where just a slight touch of bumpers just in the wrong place can cause an absolute plane crash of an accident, especially at top speeds of that middle sector.
Right, so as we get ready for the restart in not too long a time then, Thomas Rashgate leads away from Luca Gray. Peugeot is third. James Knox is highest of the soft tyres runners in fourth as well. And then it's Adam Zux in fifth ahead of Connor Knight then. So Rashgate's going to lead the field away then for the first time as we wait for the last possible minute to bolt. Is he going to go now? He's certainly taking his time, isn't he?
Yeah, and he bolts now by the looks of things, so away they get going.
Yeah, a couple of people in the midfield pack getting a bit caught out by that. Szylski loses a position. Hartley gets past Robin Mulling. Kiss and Scott swap positions as well. So Ballast Kiss already up to 9th, gained 2 places before he gets to turn 1 here. Connor Knight, stuck on the outside. Bit of contact there between Knight and Schoenemann. Schoenemann, of course, was bowled into Kiss earlier. Now both of them fighting their way up the pack, and now Knox trying to go around the outside of Peugeot into 4 and 5 here. That's going to be tough for him on those soft tyres. And both of them sort of similar on ballast, though Knox will have a little bit more from finishing up in the top 5 in race 1.
Yeah, and Gray all over the back of Rashke this time. Hopefully we're not going to see a repeat of earlier as they do go side by side. He's bringing along up the inside, and they turn.
That was nearly in the wall there for Luca Gray. That was incredibly aggressive. And he's still got the inside into 11. Is Rash going to turn in from the outside? Side by side they go. Luca Gray is going to try and retake the lead here and behind. Knox is up to 3rd, past Stanislas Peugeot. Now Adam Zux has joined the party as well, but it's Luca Gray that retakes the lead there. And you can't fault him for bravery there. That was really, really aggressive up the to try and go for that narrow gap. And Thomas Rashke couldn't close the door quickly enough.
Yeah, and it's a medium runner versus medium runner, and Gray's trying to break the toe as they come down the start-finish straight. There was a yellow come out briefly in that middle sector, and I noticed Hartley dropped down a couple of positions, but it is still Gray who has the lead over Rashke. Rashke having a look, but still tucking up behind.
I think we need to mention, Knock, who is on the soft tyres.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
The Cupra, which he's driving, is the only car that's never won a race.
Oh, really deep from Rashke as he touches the back of Luca Gray through turn 5, and they're again going to almost go side by side on exit, and this is playing absolutely into the hands of James Knox, who, as we say, has never won before. The Cupra has never won before this season. It's now finally got a brilliant chance of these 2 Hondas ahead of it, squabbling away like rats in a sack. Then they're good friends again. Rashke nearly gets glued to the side of Luca Gray there as they go through the sweepers into 10 and 11 now, and Rashke tucks in behind, but Knox is being really patient, doing a great job here. Zux has gotten through on he's fighting away with Schoenemann for 3rd, so Peugeot has hit trouble, fallen behind Connor Knight now, and Adam Zux and Schoenemann still going side by side through 12 and now into 13 and 14 as Rashke nearly hits the back of Gray again as the drift through the chicane.
Yeah, and Gray lives to fight on for another lap, and Knox is really onto the back of Rashke now. Rashke is going to have to defend from Knox as opposed to attacking Gray, and he's got the run. He's going to go around the outside. He's going to try around the outside of Rashke, but Rashke says no. He's a little later on the brakes into turn 1. Yeah,
and this is ideal for Luca Gray because now Knox is being impeded then by the fellow Honda behind him. Then you see as well Schoenemann and Zux still going side by side as they go into 4 and 5. Then Schumann's got the inside, goes really aggressive. Connor Knight now slips up the inside of Adam Zux as there's yellow in sector 1. Has something happened to our leaders there? Luca Ray still 7/10 ahead of Rashke, and then it's Knox still all over the back of the German in front of him then. And side by side go Adam Zux and Connor Knight. Knight not quite able to get ahead there. And remember, Connor Knight's not got any more soft tires to use, having used them in race 1. So yeah, Zux just holding on by the skin of his teeth, and Knight again has to look up the inside into 11.
Yeah, and there's a massive cluster of cars actually coming through here into shot now. And this is Scott all the way up to Pajad, I think, 7th.
Yeah, exactly. Pajad, Nilsson, Mulling, and Scott, and then Peter Nurendorf just behind as well, having pit for his repairs, as Connor Knight is having another go at the Simcoe of Adam Zux. Then Ballast Kiss, by the way, still in 12th, 1.8 seconds down.
Oh, and off in the background, it looked to be Nurendorf right into the barriers coming out of the chicane.
Oh, and James Knox goes around the outside at turn 1 of Thomas Rashke to take second position. And that's exactly what Luca Gray did not want to see. Lap 7 of 10 then. Zux now is finally overcome by Connor Knight in the XRL Esports Honda. The Honda's working well then. So you got Schoenemann and Knox on the soft, both making progress. Schoenemann is within 9/10 of Rashke now, looking for a podium here. So Luca Gray now has just got to hold on for 3 more laps if he wants to take 2 wins in a row. But James Knox, he looks so strong here in that Cupra. Surely this is going to be the fight of his life to hold on to the lead here.
Yeah, and Gray's going to have to let him go the long way around, which he looks to be doing, and he's just swarming all over the track. And Knox has got nowhere to go past that Honda, and through this sweeping section before they go into the final chicane, and it looks like Knox hasn't got anything yet, so I think he's going to get himself tucked up nicely behind Gray down the start-finish straight and have a go into turn 1.
Yeah, Knox has been patient so far. Now the lead is right in front of him. He can't afford to trip up at this moment. Pajot, hits the side of Nielsen, and the Dalma cars both go off track as well. And through go Neuendorf and Kiss then side by side for the lead. Knox is going to try and go around the outside with a superior run out of the final corner. And surely Luca Gray is going to try and break late into the first corner to hold on to this position. Just about keeps it on track there and actually slows up James Knox. Tries to get Thomas Rashke and Peter Schumann involved here as well. So at lap 8 of 10 then, and Luca Gray somehow still leading Schumann up the inside of Rashke. There we go, the door was left open there, and Peter Schumann now is right behind the fellow soft tire runner of James Knox. So now Knox has got company behind him.
Yeah, Knox making a mistake there into that corner. He got it all locked up, and he's unraveled all the work he's done so far. He's got just under a second gap to Gray now that he's got to make back up again with only 2 and a bit laps to go.
Yep, time ticking away then. We're about to start the penultimate lap. In a few seconds time, Connor Knight decides to strike up the inside of Thomas Rashke for 4th position here. Rashke's been played out of the podium positions, and now Knight, a little bit of a bump in the side there, but no harm, no foul into turn 12. Adam Zux now is going to try and have a go at Rashke. Rashke tries to recover up the inside into 14 and 15, but Connor Knight places the car beautifully there into the top 4. He goes. Look at Schoenemann now starting to trail 3/10 now behind James Knox. The gap to the lead a second now. Luca Gray holding on by the skin of his teeth. Rashke trying to tap the back of Connor Knight, and he's lost control completely and hit back into the side of Connor Knight through the first chicane. And that's going to allow Adam Zux through, surely, as Pajot has messed up behind them. He's gotten a penalty down in 12th, so that's disastrous for him. As look at this, Nielsen and Scott and Neuendorf all dueling away with Kiss, just sweeping past all of them to get into the top 10. Nearly taken out actually there by Daniel Scott. So lucky escape for Ballast Kiss.
Yeah, and Knox getting exactly what he didn't want, with Schoenemann also on the soft tyres swarming over the back of them, which has caused them to lose another second to Gray. So all Gray needs to do right now is keep it clean, as Schoenemann's having a look at Knox around the outside, but Knox says, no, not today. I'm not letting you pass this time. But we all know what Schumann's going to have a go. He's going to have another look round. He's swarming all over the back of that Cupra. Meanwhile,
Oh,
that's
and Gray's
where's
trouble.
Gray?
Oh, what's happened to Luca Gray? Just a lap and a bit from home. It is all fallen apart for Luca Gray. He's just disappeared completely, and now James Knox is fighting for the lead with Peter Schumann here with just one more lap to go. That is absolutely heartbreaking for Luca Gray. He was on his own, seemed completely untroubled, and he is now fallen to 10th then. And look at this, Schumann up the inside of James Knox then. Here we go, into the first chicane. Knox turns in from the outside, just about holds onto the lead. Zux has somehow gotten up to third, past Rashke there, and Connor Knight. So, oh, but he hasn't actually. He's got the chicane wrong, and Rashke's back on the podium somehow.
And Knox in the Cupra, is he going to do what he hasn't been able to do all season and get a win and a win for the Cupra? But he's got Schumann to deal with, who's probably the hungriest driver on the grid, and definitely not afraid to get those elbows out. So it's all going to come down to this final sector.
These are the two least successful cars in the championship fighting for the win.
Yep, here we go then. So James Knox, just a few more corners to go. Can he hold on as Rashke desperately trying to hold on to the podium from Connor Knight? Schumann, oh, trying to go around the outside at 12, forces James Knox to get ultra defensive on his line there. And now it's just a few more corners to go. Surely James Knox is going to take his first win of the season, but Schumann is pushing him all the way. It's going to be a drag race to the line, surely, almost pushing him along, but it's too little, too late. It doesn't matter which way he goes. Knox is going to reach the checkered flag first, and it's Knox that wins for Delma Racing. The Cupra takes victory for the first time, and James Knox, really, he very, very nearly lost that one, but he held on magnificently at the end there from Peter Schumann. What on earth happened to Luca Gray? He trundles home in 10th position. Was there just a screen freeze or some sort of error? Because he was completely untroubled up front and looking good to win. And victory has slipped out of his fingers yet again. So a bit of bad luck there as we see a replay of, Thomas Rashke nearly being spun around. And Szylski, being squeezed into the wall in contact with, I think that's Ballast Kiss there.
So obviously I was wondering why we did have a yellow flag come out, and obviously that was why, and I was wondering why Kiss never really made too much of it.
And then Hartley.
That's where Hartley went backwards as well. So not a great first couple of racing laps there, and Szylski out, and Hartley also tumbling down the order, and that's another big incident.
Not going to help.
Yeah, no. So where we thought we were going to see Kiss come through the order on those soft tyres, it didn't happen.
Oh, and there's Peugeot. That's for me, Peugeot missed his braking marker completely there and caused absolute chaos. So here we go. And you got Nielsen onside. He just went right into the side of Stefan Nielsen there.
Yeah, he was just going for a gap that was always going to disappear, and this was... two
hits from Rashke. So, yeah, Thomas completely losing control and composure there. And, Connor Knight actually did really well not to get sent into the barriers.
Yeah, and I think, Knight was also trying to be very cautious in the second race, having DNF'd due to the fact that, and this is going to be great. This is what happened. It goes out onto the grass.
Too wide.
Too wide onto the grass, and he just can't get it stopped. And then he just misses the first tyre wall and goes into the second one. So, commentator's curse at that point, because I did say he pretty much had to just get it home.
Yeah, well, he is the 100% simulation driver, so he's a commentator. He did well to not just be out on the spot there, but... and then there's this incident. Daniel Scott rejoins right into the pass. That made it even worse almost for Luca Gray there. So unlucky, but just a lapse in concentration. I think Luca Gray is going to be absolutely kicking himself for that one, because that win could not have been more in his lap, and somehow he's lost it there. Scott got spun around and then went right into the path of Luca Gray's incident as well. So that was really bad luck for him, because I don't think that was really his fault there. It was one of the Finavons that spun him around there. Might have been Peugeot actually. And then this is that run to the line with a Schumann falling just a little bit short there. What was the gap? Didn't see what the margin of victory was in the end. I'm pretty sure it was about less than a tenth though. We're not going to see it on here, but we are going to see the overall results then. So James Knox takes his first victory from Peter Schumann in dramatic fashion. Thomas Raschke on the podium for the second time this season, just holds off Connor Knight, but there might be some investigation afterwards, certainly into that race. Adam Zux takes 5th in the Simcoe. Robin Mulling is 6th for Delma. Alice Kiss is 7th. Bit of a messy one for Kiss, our reigning champion now, I guess. Stefan Nielsen is 8th. Peter Nundorf is 9th. And Luca Gray, what could have been leading by a second and a half. He drops it into the gravel and falls to 10th. Daniel Scott finishes 11th. Louis Hartley, he also had a bit of a messy one in 12th. Pajode, some clumsy incidents means he finishes 13th. And Krzysztof Zielski, after losing his rear wing, brings up the rear. But wow, we thought race 2 would be dramatic. Now we're going to spin the wheel and see which of our finishers is going to get the reverse grid pole. Oh, it's 10th then, so that means it's Luca Gray. For all 3 races, we'll start on pole then. So every cloud does have a silver lining, and for Luca Gray, it means top of the class once again.
Well, he's gonna have another shot at getting a win. Then, obviously, blotted his copybook in the last race, and hopefully can make amends in this race. But there are going to be a few runners still to take the soft tyres, providing it doesn't start raining.
Yeah, Luca Gray says after the first race, this is from 8 o'clock. I don't know why I was so quick. Lol, I almost missed the start too. I thought we were restarting to let Zielski in, so I only got on the grid as the lights were going. So yeah, I thought he looked a little bit flustered just before the start to race 1, didn't he? But yeah, there we go. Unfortunately, 10th on this occasion, but still another great chance to win here in the final race of the day. Are we going to see rain at Salzburgring just to bring the chaos, or is it going to stay dry? But of course, that's even more frustrating for Daniel Scott then, because he would have got a reverse grid pole there if Luca Gray hadn't spun out and rejoined right as he was having his spin from Pajode, or whoever it was. I think it might have actually been Schumann that hit him. No, Schumann was at the front. It must have been someone else.
It was one of the Cupras, wasn't it?
It was one of the Cupras, yeah. The problem is the Dalmas and Stefan Nilsson's car look very, very similar with the dark blue liveries. So.
Yeah, it was very reminiscent of, I think it was Sam Lowe's in Moto2 at Malaysia when he had a crash, and then he spent ages getting the bike restarted, and just as he had it restarted, he got wiped out by someone else having another crash.
Yeah. Certainly not intentional from Luca Gray, though. He's no doubt or too busy kicking himself to notice that Daniel Scott had spun. Well, Daniel Scott spun as he was rejoining, so yeah. So it's like, how much bad luck can you get, really? Luca Gray says, at least I have pole this race. Yeah. So, yeah, I think he's going to move on quite quickly, though. But I think there's very few I think Knox was the only one who didn't have any incidents at all in that race, really. He kept it pretty clean throughout and defended quite well from Schumann looked a bit quicker, but you have to say James Knox, a bit of luck with Luca Gray hitting trouble at the end, but he certainly earned that victory.
Yeah, and first victory for the Cupra. Obviously, it's
only had 2 more chances, so yeah, on the penultimate go, it wins. But I think, to be fair, Knox only joined about halfway through the championship at Brands Hatch. So yeah, he's not even done the full season, so he's actually been really, really impressive. Not just in qualifying, but now in the races as well. So it's good to see him finally get the result that he'd been threatening to do for a while. He's finally pulled it off. As there's Robin Mulling, his teammate.
Yeah, he was fairly fast out the box. I remember because he was there for the first time at the Brands Hatch Indy, wasn't it? As you said.
I think so, yeah. But he, of course, didn't have any. He had some ballast for the very, very first one. Then he did the GP race and qualified, I think, 4th on the grid or something. So yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, only one more race to go in this season, then, Ryan. So.
Yeah, it's can't quite believe it. It's been it's been a very exciting season. Although the record books probably wouldn't say that with. Kiss absolutely dominating, but there has been some fairly fantastic and exciting racing all throughout the season, even if it does mean that a certain Ford Focus does come out on top a lot of the time.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, certainly the Simcoe's not having their way the whole way. It's all one of the small tires just decides to go for walkabout out of the turn 1 and 2 chicane. So yeah, that'd be interesting. Especially if it rains in race 3. It's going to be fascinating to see those who've saved the soft tires right at the end are going to be annoyed that I don't get to use them. So I'm trying to remember who has got softs at their disposal. I think Knox might actually be one of them, you know. Oh no, he used them in race 2.
He
Didn't
used
he?
them in race 2, yeah. So I know
Rashke, I'm pretty sure hasn't used any yet.
I'm not
Connor
sure.
Knight, we know, used. I don't think I've seen Rashke in the softs yet in races 1 or 2. Connor Knight, oh, big spin for Hartley. That's going to be a massive impact there. Connor Knight, we know, used them in the first race and then retired. Zux and Ballas. Did Ballas Kiss go for this? I think he did, didn't he, in race 2?
Kiss used them in the race 2, yeah, which was a bit of a tough one for him because obviously he got caught up in that incident on the second restart, and so was
Pajode. Pajode was the other one who went for it as well. And did Stanislav finish in the top 10? Well, there we go. We're going to get our grid order then. So it'll be Luca Gray starting on pole position then. From Peter Neuendorf, Stefan Nielsen in third, Ballas Kiss fourth. So Kiss has got a great chance to win here. Robin Mulling will start fifth. Adam Zuk sixth. Connor Knight seventh. Thomas Rashke eighth. And Peter Schumann ninth with James Knox 10th. Then it'll be Daniel Scott, Louis Hartley, Stanislas Bajad and Krzysztof Zizilski rounding out your 14 starters then. So, of course, Luca Gray will be starting on the mediums because he used the softs all the way in race 1. Peter Neuendorf, second. He will start on the softs, though. So that could be a big threat. Adam Zux as well. I think this could be his best chance to finally... It feels like it's been ages since Adam Zux took a win. It's all been about Ballas Kiss so far, isn't it, in the other Simcoe? So could be a big opportunity here if he can keep it clean. But yeah, let's not rule
Did
out...
Zux actually win? I don't know if he did.
Say again?
Did Zux actually win?
He certainly come second a couple of times to Kiss. I'm not sure if he's ever quite taken the win. Here we go then. Race 3 about to begin. The final race of the season. Luca Gray on the right, Peter Neuendorf on the left. And the race begins. So the final time this season, we see action at Salzburg, and immediately Luca Gray pulls across to cover off Neuendorf, and Ballas Kiss has made a good getaway in the middle of the pack there to pass Stefan Nielsen. He's now going to try and make a move for second on Neuendorf as they go into that first chicane. It's Gray, Kiss, Neuendorf, and Nielsen. And then, look, Mulling passes Zux up around the outside then as, Wonder Dalmas. That's Daniel Scott having to miss the first chicane entirely there. So
well, I think Pajad and Scott were glued together going into that first chicane. That's why.
So Pajad not making great use of the soft so far by making contact then. But Luca Gray, for the third race in a row, leads in the middle of the first lap, doesn't he, from Kiss. And now Neuendorf will be trying to keep both of them in sight with Nielsen for good company. It's a big opportunity for Stefan Nielsen, just a place off the podium here. Peter Neuendorf, another driver yet to finish on the podium this season. But look at Zux on those soft tyres, all over the back of Robin Mulling, who got through on him at the start there on his mediums then. So it looks like Peter... Oh, go on.
Off goes Rashke. Just
big crash!
Big crash.
That's Schunemann into the kitty litter, so I think Rashke and Schunemann, that might be the last we see of them. But Gray starting to tighten up. The bollard goes flying, and Ballas Kiss is all over the back of him then as they're about to start a lap 2 here. What can Luca Gray do? Because he has probably got has he got more ballast, I think, than Ballas Kiss. It's going to be pretty equal for this final race, to be honest, because they were very, very similar where they finished in race 2. Into the first chicane they come, and Gray holds on to that lead from the new champion of Season 5 of EERC British Touring Car. So this is the ultimate test for Luca Gray. Once again, just showing that he can hold on to the lead as Nielsen makes a dive on Neuendorf, and he's going to be stranded on the outside as Peter Neuendorf. That's aggressive from the Super Swede. Stand by Stefan, putting himself alongside then as they go for that long sweeping S's then, as now Pajot is under attack from Louis Hartley as well for 8th.
Yeah, and it was Nielsen getting the crowbar out on Neuendorf then. There may not have been much of a gap, but he's certainly trying to make one as we look further back again to Nielsen.
Not made it through. He's not made it through his Staffan, but look behind Zux and Mulling. Oh, that's bold from Zux to go right on the outside of Robin Mulling. Mulling is having a fantastic defensive drive so far from someone onto the soft tyres, so Zux should be much faster. And Nuendorf is another one of those on the softs as well, so he is actually really using them to good effect to keep Ballast Kiss just about in sight, and taking the bollard with him as well, as we see, Zux making the move in the background.
Yeah, and so Zux over the barriers he goes. So what on earth happened there?
Zux has got absolutely launched. So that's not the way to make the move, as the rain is starting to fall here at the Salzburgring. Luca Gray, you can see the windscreen wiper moving around on Ballast Kiss's cockpit, but now the rain is falling rapidly. And Thomas Raschke has sadly had to retire from the race. He joins us in the commentary box then, and he's going to be annoyed that he didn't get to stay in the race and gamble on the red tyres here. But now we got 7 laps to go, and this rain could very well continue here. And this is going to make it absolutely chaotic, as Daniel Scott comes in immediately, and Kiss is starting to line up Gray once again.
Yeah, and Zux is coming back round the outside of Mulling, that looks to be, after recovering from whatever on earth happened coming out that final corner. But they're all swarming everywhere, and they're trying to pretty much either make their way back to the pits and take a gamble and hope that this rain is going to be in for the rest of the race like Scott has, or they've got to try and brave the storm, which is not going to be fun. It's quite a fast circuit.
Yeah, exactly. You do not want to be caught with your pants down on dry tyres through turn 11 in the wet. So let's see what everyone decides to do. Who's going to stay out and gamble? As there we go. You see the skybox changing colours. The grip is going to decrease by the lap. It's a long stop for Daniel Scott as well. He's still in the pits having those wet tyres put on. And Ballast Kiss there trying to go to the outside at the first chicane. Luca Gray tries to defend. The lights are on. Visibility will start to decrease from here on in, but Luca Gray plays it perfectly to keep Ballast Kiss at bay. Don't forget about Peter Nuendorf now, is pulling a gap to Staffan Nielsen behind. Nuendorf is still on those soft tyres. They will be effective, but not for much longer as the rain continues to fall. Wide goes Luca Gray at turn 5. Up the inside goes Ballast Kiss, and that's going to be the lead for the Hungarian.
Wow, I think for Kiss, that was almost down to the wet track surface almost. The
it's not
rear
done
end,
yet.
rear end snapped and they're still side by side, yeah. And it's going to still be side by side, but Gray's going to have the outside, but he's still just about squeezes in front.
Oh, no fear whatsoever shown from Luca Gray. I'm absolutely loving this, and not just because it's my car he's driving, but certainly that's a small factor. Here we go again, cutting to the inside. Getting very defensive is Luca Gray, desperately trying to cling on to this lead, wants to make up for race 2 in these tricky conditions by preventing the EERC British Touring Car Champion from beating him here, but he's backing him into the path of Peter Nuendorf then. And are any of them going to dive for the pits here as the rain shows no sign of abating? I think it's
the rain isn't that heavy. It looks heavy, but it isn't. It's 8% at the minute, which will make the track greasy, but it's not changeover conditions.
Yeah, 5% is showing on the timing screen. I assumed it was going to just continue again. Taking right in comes Ballast Kiss through that first chicane and putting the maximum pressure on Luca Gray. Again, we're at the halfway stage and Gray is clinging onto this lead by his fingernails. And now the problem trying to back Ballast Kiss into Peter Nuendorf is that Peter Nuendorf, with all due respect, even on the soft tyres, is not quite as quick as Ballast Kiss. So it is just a situation where potentially if he backs off too much, Kiss is just going to fly around the outside of him. And with the rain falling, if it gets any heavier, they're going to have to make up their minds whether they're going to switch tyres or not. Daniel Scott, he is still out there. He has been lapping about 2 or 3 seconds off the pace in the first sector. So he's a lap down as well. So it's not looking good for Daniel Scott at the moment on the wets, unless it really, really buckets it down.
Yeah, and that doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon, as we're pretty much coming to the halfway point of this race. And, there's someone just taking off to the grass there, and that's... I can't quite see who that is. It looked like one of the
I think it might have been Schoenemann fighting away with... because Hartley's now right in front of him, as we look at Peugeot. Just fighting away, and now we cut back to the leaders. 5 laps to go then, and Luca Gray desperate to take another precious win to add to his tally. He's only had a handful in his EERC British Touring Car career. Ballast Kiss, though, has had about 10 so far this season and is looking to go for number 11. Peter Nundorf never finished on the podium, yet he's doing an absolutely superb job. Nielsen, though, is starting to fall into the clutches of the second seat. Goes Zirks, oh, big moment for Gray, and he goes wide and off track at turn 5, and that lets Balaskis through. You thought that one was coming, and now Peter Nundorf is going to get a great run on Gray in the fight for second now, but that was what Balaskis needed. Connor Knight has had to retire for the second of our 3 races here today, so he has hit trouble somewhere. And yeah, it's still Daniel Scott's been the only one to go for the wets then, as we're at 15% in terms of dampness on the track.
Yeah, and I think it's 15% in 5% of the area, I think, so I don't think it's completely wet.
No, stuff is off.
Oh, big crash for Nielsen.
No.
Big
And
impact. He does
that's
well
him
not to
gone,
re-enter the
surely.
track either.
So it is just
no.
lethal when you get to the outside. The rear wing's gone from the last stint racing car. So no, it's still on, sorry.
Go back.
But Nielsen has got heavy damage from that impact, especially at the front of that car. So it is a battle for survival. It's like an ice rink out there on these dry tires for a lot
The
of this.
rain is intensifying.
Yep, it's gone up to 15% now.
Are we going to see any more drivers join Daniel Scott by pitting for wets? I wonder if Luca Gray, he's still about 6/10 then behind Balaskis. I wonder if he might take the gamble to try and get back into the lead here. But yes, Scott is starting to catch up in terms of the lap times with those in front of him. Knox and Hartley dueling away as Robin Mulling goes wide. That's going to let Pajode back through then. And there we go. There is Hartley dueling away with James Knox then. Knox from 10th on the grid, now up to 8th. As we see Mulling and Szylski still side by side. Mulling is not going to be able to go around the outside of the Optiminal here, surely. And he has to back off. It's all action everywhere you look, really.
Yeah.
Gray's win 4/10 now of Kiss. So Kiss is not getting away here.
Yeah, and Schoenemann and Nielsen obviously taking some, going for the gamble of wet tyres, but they're really tiptoeing through that bottom end of the circuit around the hairpin. They're really having to take it easy compared to the pace that they were running earlier.
The problem is they pit too late. I think it's not going to be enough time left to make up the gap. Even if it starts chucking it down, they might fall a bit short of the leaders. It's going to be close, though.
And it seems like Kiss is actually struggling in these wet conditions, and Gray has actually made all that time back that he's lost.
It's tipping it down.
Mulling taps the back of Szylski in this fight for 6th. They're right behind Pajode as well. Hartley and Knox not far in arrears either. Luca Gray, I think he's made a little mistake in the final sector here.
He's trying to pit, but couldn't get it slowed down to get into the pit lane.
And now he's got to stay out, because if he pits now, it's way too late with 2 laps left to go. And he's given up that position to a very grateful Peter Nundorf.
Yeah, and wow, from being all over the back of Kiss to trying to take that gamble, but he just couldn't get the car slowed down enough. It's a very tight pit entry here, and it just caught him out.
Yeah, it's interesting that a lot of the soft tyre runners, the ones sticking it out there, off track, go both Mulling and Hartley through the first 2 corners there. Around the outside goes Louis Hartley. He's going to have to complete this move just before they reach turn 5. And there we go, Hartley's up into P7, then ahead of the 2 downers of Mulling and Knox then. So, yeah, still every man for himself back there. Look at the lap times of Schoenemann and Nielsen, who have made it to the middle sectors here. 23.4 in the middle sector. I think they're a lot slower in front of him. So we're expecting Schoenemann to chew through the back end of the top 10 here.
Yeah, and Nielsen still looks like a handful. I'm assuming that because he's pitted for the wets. Has he not? Yeah, he's on wets. So
yeah, I think it's quite possible everyone in front could fall off the road. There's Gray. Almost about to put a lap on them, but that was a Nundorf having to go off track, then giving up second position back to Luca Gray there. So a crucial mistake for Nundorf means second position has slipped out of his hands.
Yeah, and Sux is actually catching up onto the back of these guys now, as well as Kiss is managing to get his way up the order. I can't imagine now, with 2 laps to go, them anyone ducking for pit lane, but it looks like
Daniel Scott has realised that he's just too far down, even on the wet tyres, so he is pitted out. And cutting the chicane comes Luca Gray. They're just running out of grip there. They've got nothing on these dry tyres, and Luca Gray's got to be careful not to get a penalty then, as he goes through towards turn 5, and he might not be the only one going off track here either.
I think he was doing a Joker lap there. That's what he was doing. But everyone just trying to stay on track because it's basically, as we saw with Scott, even though the others ahead of Schumann and Nilsson pitted for the wets, as we see another one of the Coopers going off there, they still came out in front of Scott. So Scott had lost so much time going on to wets too early.
I think it was Mulling that went off because he's now right in front of James Knox. But look, the problem is Schumann's about 44 seconds down on these two, and he's only got another lap of the race to do. So the problem is the rain has fallen, but the problem is even if you're gaining 10 seconds a lap, let's say, that's not enough to make the difference here.
Yeah, and at the moment they are definitely, the wet weather runners are the fastest on the track, but they're only really faster by approximately 8 seconds. So 8 seconds at the moment just isn't enough to make you up that deficit.
Yeah, that's the big issue. They needed everybody to pit as, oh, look at this. More action. Ciesielski loses out to Louis Hartley, who finally gets through into 6th position. Adam Zux is all over the back of Peter Nurndorf for 3rd. Can Peter Nurndorf, one more lap to go, can he hold on to his first podium? Will Adam Zux steal it from him? Luca Gray is 2.7 seconds behind. Adam Zux is ahead as they go over the start-finish line, but Nurndorf is still there on the inside. He can't break late into the first corner again. Luca Gray has to miss that first chicane there as Adam Zux somehow, just about gets it stopped in time in these treacherous conditions. Peter Nurndorf gets the superior exit though, and he's going to try and get alongside, but he'll be trapped on the outside here. There's no way back through in that car there. The pot racer, but wide goes
Zux is going wide.
And Zux is in the gravel. Peter Nurndorf is going to get back onto the podium here. Oh, fantastic there for the German, who has never been on the podium before. He's had so much bad luck this season. It's been his son, Tim Nurndorf, that's taken a lot of the plaudits early on, winning at Zandvoort memorably. But now it's Peter's turn, potentially, to taste a step on the rostrum.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see how the stewards look at Gray taking to the exit road for the last 2 laps, whether or not that's going to be track limits. But this is the last lap of the race, and we do have Nurndorf in 3rd position, so hopefully he can hold on to that because he's got a fairly comfortable advantage over Zux. But we look to Zux's teammate Kiss, who's He's managed to keep it on the black stuff better than everyone else in these treacherous conditions, and he's pulled away to a classic Kiss victory to round out the season.
Yeah, Luca closes win 2.5 seconds. He's taking 2/10 out of him, but it's not enough. Across the line comes Ballas Kiss, and he wins the final race of the season, does the reigning champion. Luca Gray is 2nd, and it's Peter Nurndorf for the first time on the podium. Well done to Peter to just hold on from Adam Zux with that mistake. Zux will be kicking himself after that one, but the rain certainly caused chaos, and what an exciting end to the season. But there's no doubt who the champion is. It's Ballas Kiss.
Yep, and there was a wheel going flying there just a moment ago, but back to the replays of, the drama of our final race of the season.
Yeah, so we might be able to hear from Thomas Raschke about his retirement then, when we see it on here, as we look at Knox, and then we cut back to the actual start of the race then. So this is when it was dry, all of 20 minutes ago. So again, great. As we said, cutting all the way to the right immediately to block off Nurndorf. Nilsson doesn't get a great getaway, and that allows Kiss through. This is what Kiss built his victory on, this superb start that got him up to 2nd position.
Yeah,
and Calamity at the back there.
That was Pajad, and I didn't quite catch who else it was.
Or it was not Kaczynski, because it's whoever is in board that 57 car, isn't it? That's Daniel Scott, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's why Scott had to cut the chicane, because he got pushed into the wall. And then this is Raschke. The hit with the XRL. And 2 big hits with the barrier there for the Rice car.
Yeah, and then
hit with Schumann for good measure there. I don't know where Peter thought the gap was there.
Well, he was basically
over-ambitious.
Well, I don't think it was so much over-ambitious as more of he was trying to avoid the Knight, who looked to be having a bit of an incident of his own there.
I thought Connor Knight was going to somehow save that, but unsurprisingly, 4 hits were a bit too many to survive from. And Daniel Scott, again, carrying way too much speed through the middle part of the chicane and has to take it in reverse almost and go against the flow of traffic. As this is Mulling hitting the gravel. And he came right into the path of Zux, and that was why we saw Zux going right into the air as he rejoined the circuit there.
Yeah,
That's
so
easy from Milling.
yeah, and this is where the rain started to fall, and this was Hartley going off.
Hardly staying on track, I would say.
Yeah, good control from the CNC champion. Then it's Peter Schumann. That's why Connor Knight's out, because Schumann just squeezed him into the wall there. That
Yeah.
was a bit incredibly aggressive and a bit needless from Peter. Oh, there you go. Yeah, he should have seen him alongside. I think
Oh,
it's
we've
difficult to
got,
excuse that.
A tough
got
one,
Connor
really.
Knight in the waiting room, so we can talk about these incidents with him.
Oh dear, he's probably going to have some words to say to you too, Thomas.
I doubt it. We've been talking about it in the DMs, and we both are the opinion that it was just unlucky.
Oh, and this is what happened to Staffan. That's why he dropped out of 4th position. I had to miss the last 2 corners, and that was how Zux was able to pull away. And there's James Knox. Yeah, Staffan was the one who gambled on the wets as well, which turned out not to be the way to go, bizarrely, as James Knox decides to collect tyres on the exit of turn 2 there.
Yeah, and he's got a recovering Hartley all over the back of him at that point, and that's Scott going off again into the barrier. So
No wonder
at
he
this,
went out of the race.
well, at this point, he was already on the wet tires. And that's Hartley having another incident, and with
avoiding Szylski. Yes, that was how Szylski lost that place.
Well, he clipped the back of Szylski, so that's how Szylski went round.
Here we go. Quietly minding his own business. No! Gets a little bit caught out there, does Louis Hartley, in the braking zone. And then this is the mistake from Zerks. Oh, just a little bit offline. That's so frustrating because you can see that happening a mile away and he can't do anything about it at that point.
And it's one of the very frustrating parts of being in the wet, especially on slick tyres in the wet weather conditions. You just don't know. You don't always know the best point to brake, as each lap the rain was coming down and down. So each lap, the braking point that you had the lap before is completely changed. So it's all about having that gamble of where to brake.
So then, confirmation of the final results. 3 different winners from our 3 races then, with Luca Gray winning the first, somebody else winning the second, and now Ballast Kiss winning the third then. As there we go, all the cars appear on the results screen. Ballast Kiss was able to get through on Luca Gray. Gray somehow held on to second despite some scary moments in the wet. Peter Nutendorf takes his first podium in third from Adam Zerks with that mistake through turn 5 on the final lap. Stanislas Pajot, we didn't talk too much about him. He actually recovered really well to get up to 5th. Louis Hartley was 6th. Krzysztof Szylski was 7th. James Knox from 10th was able to get up to 8th ahead of his teammate Robin Milling. Peter Schunemann gambled on the wets but could not make up the time. The pit stop took a bit too long there. Staffan Nilsson doing the same in 11th, and Nilsson lost out on a top 5 because of that decision. Not making it to the end in those tricky conditions were Daniel Scott, Connor Knight, and this man alongside us, Thomas Raschke, all of whom retired in accidents.
Yes.
So then, I would interview you first, Thomas, but since you're already here, I think we might keep our guys in the waiting room from waiting. Yes, exactly. So, shall we go for, since he arrived first, shall we go for Connor Knight then? And end on Luca. Right, let's hear what XRL Esports. Let's hear what XRL Esports' very own Connor Knight has to say then. So, we are now joined by Connor Knight. I realized just after I dragged him in that he's muted himself. Hey, Connor. Hello.
Hi, you're right.
Bit of a interesting one for you then. So, lots of action. You were fighting in the top 4 for a lot of those races. Sadly, 2 of them ended in retirement, but in the middle there was a very, very strong 4th position where you just lost out to the other man alongside us, Thomas Raschke, in the fight for the podium. So, certainly you had some fun out there, but it was a bit of a shame, especially the way race 3 wasn't very long at all for either of you too.
No, I thought full guns blaze, but it happened. First race was a bit unlucky with the penalties. Second race, Thomas, you were a little bit naughty.
Yes, but I was desperate. I was desperate. I wanted to have another podium.
I won't let you have that. No, it's just unfortunate. No, I won't. I can really care less, to be honest. No, it's just a bit unlucky. Caught me. I'm surprised I caught it. Just pinned it and it worked. So no, fourth was all right though. I mean, I accidentally used the softs in race 1, which judging was a bit of a mistake. So probably could have won in race 2 if I had softs. But oh well. And race 3 was just unfortunate. Just a bit of a rogue place to go for a move, I will admit, but just completely understeered and then just flipped Thomas slightly, and he ended up in a barrier, and I ended up very badly in a barrier. So.
Yeah, I've never seen a XRL esport that wedged in a wall before.
No,
can
I'm
you
not
remind me
quite
what
wrong.
happened? Could you imagine what happened in race 1? Because I don't remember after everything that happened.
No, so I got a drive through because the
That was
traffic
it.
was a bit rubbish.
Yeah,
and that pit lane is a pain in the backside to get into.
Luke is gonna tell us
It
how
is
they
a
make-
little bit tight because I pretty much straight lined the pit lane and clobbered the wall. No, it happens.
So, of course, you did only a couple of rounds this season. Of course, we don't know any information about season 6 so far. But if it does happen, would you be interested in coming back, Connor?
Oh, I'll easily come back. It's a bit of fun, isn't it? It keeps me from being a menace to society of a Thursday or Wednesday evening. So, yeah.
I didn't realise we were performing a public service here.
No, you are. No, I mean it's something to do, isn't it?
You all gotta remember, you're talking to the person that forgot that the race was on a Wednesday.
Yeah,
One day later was like, oh shit, there was a race.
I come from the F1 games. I used to start at 8 o'clock, not 7, so I'm like half asleep by the time we start.
But didn't you forget one of the races completely?
I've got about 4 of them completed, to be honest with you.
Yeah, where I then made the dementia joke, where we got the Alzheimer's stuff on your car.
Yeah.
And it's like the perfect sponsorship for someone who forgets when the races are.
Yeah.
At least the money is going to a good cause, which is Connor Knight's memory.
I've got no money to give him, so.
Okay. Just as well then, because you wouldn't have earned too much today. But anyway, thank you very much for talking to us, Connor, and well done the 4th place in race 2, and we hope to see you not just in EERC British Touring Guys, but competing for XRL in many other championships. They seem to be running.
Oh, you will. You might
Le Mans
see
Ultimate
me in
Series.
another
You might have
team.
heard me in. Yeah.
Excuse me, Le Mans Ultimate.
Yeah, I've been commentating on. It's a run by XRL Virtual Motorsport Series. We're
well,
doing a contender series next Friday.
Oh, you know what? I was meant to do contender series, and I forgot to sign up.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah, Alzheimer's.
Don't worry, the sign-ups can't open in like early March as well. So
I'll
keep an
do
eye
that.
out for
There's plenty of
for the
time. I'll
next
do
season.
that then.
All right. Yeah, you might be all right.
Yeah, I might actually finish a race this time.
But they are a little bit longer than these ones. So
Yeah, no. And as we found out at Brands, I'm better over a longer distance. So
that's true. Very, very true. You were very, very good at the Brands Hatch GP as well. So these are 2 great highlights from this season. But anyway, we've got other people waiting to talk to us, Connor. Thank you very much.
You'll see me back definitely. So
have a good night.
Oh, you too, mate. Take care.
Right, now let's talk to Hunter Birch's very own Luke Gray, who of course won race 1 and was 2nd in race 3. So Luca joins us now in the commentary box. Luca, I imagine mixed emotions for you. Pole position in race 1, and you held on brilliantly on those soft tyres. Took the lead from Peugeot at the start, never really looked back. Race 2, great defensive drive right up until the final lap, which I imagine you don't really want to talk about. And then race 3, reverse group pole, bailed you out a little bit there. And then just a little bit of mistake with the rain falling. You went a little bit wide at turn 5, and Ballast Kiss, the champion, went up the inside of you. And then there was a moment where you were thought about pitting for the wets and then changed your mind halfway through. And by the time you'd done that, round the outside had gone Peter Newendorf. But luckily, a mistake from Peter at turn 12 meant you were able to get back through. So up and down day, a first and a second. You've got to feel pleased with that after the way some of this season's gone, though.
Yeah, I think I could say I'm pleased. 3 top 10s is how I would look at it, especially after the season. But race 1 was good. Got the lead at turn 1, then didn't really look back. Race 2, yeah. I just went off all by myself, and then when I was rejoining, someone spun on their own or something, and then
it was Daniel Scott, yeah. He got spun around, and as he was trying to get right himself, you were rejoining at the same time. So it was a bit of a confluence of events there, which wasn't great. It didn't cost you any positions in the end. 10th is 10th, and luckily you still got that reverse grid as a result of it. In race 2, how to describe that one? Because obviously Kiss made a great start, and then it was defending all the way, and then the rain fell. So it was really sort of worst case scenario for you on most fronts because nobody knew what to do.
Yeah, so race 3 was interesting. I'll just describe it like that. It was fun having the lead for a few laps, and then I made a mistake going into turn 2 or 3, whatever it is. And then I just couldn't catch up to Kiss ahead, and then he was gone. And then I made a mistake after the pit thing. So I'll tell you what happened. So I decided to come into the pits. I was going to pit, but then I realised I was locking up, and I was going to go straight into the wall at the pit entry. So
This is why you didn't pit
what
anyway,
happened.
because you would have finished 10th.
Yeah.
Instead of
And
second.
then luckily Neuendorf went off wide at the fast right-hander or turn 3. I can't remember.
It's turn 12.
Allowed
It'd
me
be
to
back
go
end of
through.
the circuit, wouldn't it? Just after turn 11, where everybody crashed.
Right, yeah. And then
Can I ask also? Oh, go on, sorry.
So sorry, no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask about the first lap on race 2, where
Oh,
there was a bit
yeah,
of contact
yeah.
between you, Louis Hartley, and the other man with us, Thomas Raschke, where Thomas, I think, hit you, and then you hit Louis Hartley in a big way.
Yeah.
With big,
Yeah.
small hit with big consequences for Louis, sadly.
I just think wrong place at wrong time for all three of us, because Thomas was bumping me down the straight, and then he hit me like just at the wrong time, so I hit Louis in the corner, and then I couldn't react in time.
Well, but you got to remember it was Louis Hartley, so it's not really the worst offense you could have done.
Okay, I would like to be striked from the record on the steward's report, please. Anyway, Luca, another season in the books then, and 2 wins for you as well. So it's certainly been great when we've had you to have you in the car, because you've really shown some impressive pace. And as team owner and commentator, I feel very proud of the job you've done, and Oliver and Magnus when he's had a couple of substitute goes as well.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, and hopefully something happens to make this league keep going, because it's a fun league. So yeah.
Yep, it certainly is. I got my own league to worry about because I was made FSR president, so I can't take over EERC British Touring Cars and FSR because I think one of them would have to lose out in terms of attention. But and EERC British Touring Cars, with all due respect, is a tiny bit smaller.
Rude.
But I mean, it's not that much smaller, but I got elected to be president, so I got a mandate, you know. So, but anyway, but Luca, it's been a pleasure to commentate on you this season. Best of luck wherever you race next, and stay in touch, and we'll let you know when there's a drive for you.
Yeah, we'll do. Thank you very much.
Okay, and there's one man waiting to talk to us, who I don't think competed today at all, but I believe it's the guy who owns or has driven for Dalma before, which is Lorenzo Eterovic. So let's hear what Lorenzo has to say. Hello, Lorenzo.
Hello, hello.
I didn't see you on the grid today, so I'm not sure what you want to talk to us about, other than maybe the fortune of the Dalma cars. Of course, I remember who won race 2 now. It was James Knox, wasn't it? That sensational performance, even though Luca may have aided a little bit but by going off at the end, but we won't talk about that. But he still nonetheless held off Peter Schumann brilliantly, and that was probably the highlight of the day for Dalma. But Knox was pretty strong in all 3 races, it must be said.
No, yeah, of course, James has been very, very strong throughout the championship, and I'm very glad that he finally got his win in this league, even though it was in the last round. Would have been nice that it happened earlier. He had a chance at Norrisring, he had a chance in another round, I forgot which one it was, but in the end he finally got there, and now Nick can say that every car on the grid has had a win.
Yep, certainly. So, but it's not just about the cars they'll drive. The driver has got to make the difference as well, and that was certainly the case for James. What about Daniel Scott and Robin Mulling? How did you feel they got on today? So some solid performances. Mulling was okay in some of the earlier races, and had some good defense from Zux at the beginning of race 3 as well.
Oh, well, I'm very happy. I saw in race 3 Daniel didn't have his race go as planned, really, but I'm very happy with him reserving for myself for the past 2 races in Mid-Ohio and in Salzburgring because I wasn't able to due to football duties. And Robin was a bit of a last-minute reserve because David Granville told me this morning that he has some late plans with friends, which he didn't know about himself until that morning. So it was a bit of a rush to get a reserve, but Robin was more than willing to reserve for him, and I'm very glad that he delivered the results that he may have wanted more. He definitely would have wanted more, but the results were good nonetheless.
It was great to see the rookie monsters duo reunited again at Dalma, because they're always good value for money, Scott and Mulling, whenever they're at the wheel of a touring car, a single-seater, or an endurance prototype, or whatever it is. They always tend to just have an absolute blast out there and go wheel to wheel with anybody that's willing to get alongside them. So, yeah, I haven't really got any more questions, Lorenzo. So is there anything you want to say as we sign off another EERC British Touring Car season from your side?
Well, saying that, I do wish that this isn't the last EERC BTCC season. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time here, even though I only joined at the last round of last season at Brno, which I did myself. Haven't been around long, but this league is something that I really enjoy. I've enjoyed running my own team here, and especially how much success we've had. But yeah,
certainly lately, yes.
yeah, touring cars are something that I've loved since I was young. My first sim racing game was Race 07 when I was about 5 years old on my dad's old Logitech Wingman wheel. So yeah, to have found a touring car league on a game that I do like is something that was very nice to me, and this is a league that I hold, I guess you could say, close to my heart, even though, as I said, I've only been here for a season plus one round. But yeah, hopefully this isn't the end of the BTCC, and hopefully we do see and hear each other once again eventually. I'll definitely be here for if the league returns, as a driver, as a team owner, either or. But yeah, this season was very, very good. We had some great moments, we had some bad moments, myself and the team and the league in general. But yeah, that's the whole point of sim racing, to enjoy all the moments that you get to have on track and off track with the people. And yeah.
I think a vast majority probably agree with that sentiment that are watching then. So lovely to hear that, Lorenzo. And yeah, we do hope that we're back again in a few months' time for another season. But there are probably a few things that need to happen to put things in place. But yeah, I think the sentiment is definitely one that everyone agrees with. But anyway, thank you very much, Lorenzo, for participating and being there this season. And yeah, we hope you have a good off season and enjoy getting into the winner's circle with James.
Thank you. I'll celebrate with my bowl of bolognese that's waiting for me in the living room.
Well, don't let us keep you there.
Thank you for having me today.
On the note of hearing each other again, you can look into the stream if you wanna.
Ooh. Okay, so this has not been briefed to me beforehand, but it looks like Pascal has been busily working behind the scenes to bring back the EERC Formula E Championship that we've not had since 2022, so about 3 years ago. So it looks like since the Gen 3 cars joined the game, that championship is coming back then, and I guess they're going to need someone to commentate on it. I wonder who they'll go for. But anyway, it is going to be the 7th season then of the long-running EERC Formula E Championship. The open is going to be at the Romi Prix in Italy in the EUR region on the 26th of March. There'll be round 2 will be Hyderabad in India on the 9th of April. We're followed by Bern in Switzerland, Chicane Mania on the 23rd of April. Sao Paulo, Brazil. That's not the Formula 1 circuit, the Grand Prix circuit. That will be the Sambadrome. That's on the 7th of May. Followed by Punta del Este by the beach in Uruguay. Diriyah, Saudi Arabia, Ojoy on the 4th of June. And then the mystery round will be the season finale on round 7. I wonder where that could be. I genuinely have no idea, because all of this is new information to me, as indeed it will be to our viewers.
I reckon it'll be the Birmingham Super Prix, I reckon, for the final.
I think that might be wishful thinking because I'm not sure that's. I know there's a version of that in like the Jeff Caraman Grand Prix 2 that someone modded in. I'm not sure if there's an R Factor 2 version of it, but I guess we'll see. Could be, in theory, anything. Probably more likely to be existing Formula E tracks. If it's in the UK, it's more likely to be London E-Prix at either the XL or Battersea Park, which is basically just follow the leader. No chance to overtake, which will be entertaining, but probably not exciting, if that makes sense. But anyway, there is that to look forward to. So that is very, very good news. But as for EERC British Touring Cars, we wait with bated breath to know what's going to happen next. And I think before we sign off air and congratulate our new champions, I think it's only fitting that Nick Homewood should get the final say at the end of the 5th season. You've been running every single season since the first, Nick, and yeah, it's been amazing to have you running this championship. And yeah, it's certainly been emotional to see you step down, not just from the driving seat, but also from managing duties as well, Nick.
Oh, it's been over 3 years. I think I remember the first test race we did in was it Donington? Anyway, it was
either Brands or Donington.
Yeah,
it
was Donington.
Yeah, oh yeah, you'll remember that well, won't you? I remember that.
But last word in.
You know, it doesn't feel like 3 years ago, does it? And it's been fun. Doesn't? Well, you know, it's been fun.
I've been doing other things in between. So
everything comes to an end, doesn't it? And hopefully someone will pick things up.
Yeah, but it was certainly been a brilliant ride, and we've got to say thank you very much, Nick, for running things behind the scenes, because without you and Pascal and all the others, we wouldn't have been able to enjoy the racing that we have, and it certainly has been absolutely excellent. So final word then, because we are starting to run long. Congratulations to Ballast Kiss, our driver's champion, to Simcoe, our team's champions, and I believe to Alan Axon, who, despite some good performances from Thomas Raschke, has still sealed the Independence Championship by some margin then. So good try, Thomas. Better luck next season. But anyway, from myself, from Mr. Ryan Ferris alongside me, from Nick Homewood running the safety car and race direction, from Pascal Eggert running the broadcast, and from everybody watching here at EERC British Touring Cars, we hope you enjoyed this season. We look forward to you joining us in at the end of March when Formula E starts back up again in Rome. But from me, Edward Hunter, it's goodbye for now, and we hope you enjoyed watching the exciting 5th season of EERC British Touring Cars. Watch this space.